Hey guys, welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid and a very early morning ramble. We're up here just as the sun's coming up, my favorite time to be up here during the day. We are, as of this recording, in between Christmas and New Year. So we're going to talk about the 5 biggest end of the year news stories no one else is going to talk about. You won't hear it anywhere but here. This is because this is positive news. This is good news. This isn't scare the crap out of you so you don't want to leave your house type news. As a result, we might only get 1,800 people watch this video while 18 billion will watch that other doom and gloom stuff, but we don't care. We're here for the 1,800 who like to shine bright like the sun and bright like a diamond, and we do that by looking at the good, not focusing on the bad, most of which never happens anyway. And excuse me while I focus on squirrels and blue jays over there at our bird feeder we put up for our veterans and active service members while I do this ramble. I came up here, there's a whole flock of blue jays over there, and they're coming back in the longer I sit here. So anyway, Dearly, my beautiful bride, got me 2 very wonderful Christmas gifts, and I wanted to show them to you today. This is the first one, and I want to explain, there's special meaning behind these gifts. See, I still have the tag on here. There's a UVA Virginia Cavaliers toboggan. I'm going to show you what they are and explain the special meaning. And here's the other gift she got me. A big old jar of Vlasic pickles. There goes an eastern bluebird. That's one of my favorites. Gosh, that squirrel. I hope you can see it. Hold on. Look at that pine tree. See that pine tree? Can you see the squirrel? Oh, he's up. Sorry guys, you know I have a tendency to digress. This wildlife is getting amazing. We're running between 20 and 30 head of free-range deer now here on the homestead, and they're out here almost all the time. Our free-range squirrels have got to number 30 or 40 at any given time. I mean, that's how many. You look out the dining room windows and you'll see 6 or 8, then you walk to the other side of the house and look out the kitchen window, you see 6 or 8 out on that side. They're just everywhere. Okay, so one of the gazillion things I love about my beautiful bride is that she pays attention and appreciates the small details. So, as far as this toboggan goes, there's a little store down on the corner there in Charlottesville called Mincer's where they sell all the UVA garb for like a lot of money. Every time we go by, we go down there about once a week and take these little walks and strolls, and we play football with our son Daniel there on the lawn across from the corner in front of the science hall, in front of the medical school. And we walk by Mincer's, and I see their UVA toboggans, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to have a UVA toboggan so I can wear it, and I don't just have that plain orange Carhartt thing I have. But I didn't want to spend the money on something that I didn't need because I had a toboggan that worked just fine. So she remembered me saying that, and she got me a toboggan. She pays attention to the little things. And then the pickles, I just never buy pickles, but I love them. And a lot of times when we stop, when we're out and we stop maybe to get a sandwich like a sub, I love Italian subs. And I love my subs and I like Reubens too, and I like them with a side of chips and a pickle. And I just go on and on about how much I love the pickles. So Dearly bought me this big jar of pickles for Christmas, and I ate 2 of them yesterday. So hope all of you had a wonderful Christmas. And now I'm going to get to the biggest. I got 5 here. 5 of the biggest year-end news stories that you're not going to hear about in MSM or anywhere else. Okay, number 1. We're past the winter solstice. That was December 21. That was the shortest day of the year. We're actually a little more than 3 days past that. So guess what? We're getting longer days now. We're getting more sunlight with each passing day. It's coming up earlier in the mornings and it's setting later in the evenings. This is a wonderful thing, especially for people, myself included, who often suffer from depression in the winter months because of a lack of daylight. This gives us more daylight. The days are actually getting 2 minutes and 8 seconds longer each day between now and the spring equinox. And you say, wow, that's not a whole lot of time there, Crazy Lake. 2 minutes and 8 seconds? That's 2 minutes and 8 seconds per day. So 10 days from now, you've gained 2 minutes and 8 seconds times 10. I mean, that's like 20-something minutes. Okay, these are in no particular order. But here, number 2, the after Christmas sales. I mean, guys, all that stuff that people were paying, above, premium prices for only days ago, you can now get for pennies on the dollar. Keep in mind things such as Christmas decorations, especially over the next few days, are going to be dirt cheap, like 10 cents on the dollar. Think of the deep discount department stores like Big Lots, Marshalls, places like this. They'll be practically giving this stuff away just to clear it off the shelves to make room for this next season's inventory. So also think about things not that just maybe you wanted for Christmas but you didn't get, but think about things you might need around the house that you've been putting off. Now's a good time to get it because you can take advantage of a lot of these after Christmas sales. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3. Okay, now this has to do with homesteading, gardening, and all this stuff. I mentioned this in a ramble the other day. A lot of folks who love to be outside, who like to be outdoors, who love to garden and homestead and deal with horticulture, agriculture, all this, get kind of bummed out in the winter because, nothing's growing. Hey, take advantage of that time to do the planning and the prepping, like building your raised garden beds. This morning I was researching winter crops like kale, garlic. There's so many things. You got to look to see what zone you're in. I think I'm a little late for a lot of it. I did get some garlic in the ground, though, before it was too late, and we've got some garlic coming up. But there's plenty of activities you can participate in outside, even though it's winter. Number 4. Okay, guys, this is a brand new idea I got, and I hope to really just throw myself into this because we have the time now to do it since a lot of stuff's not growing. But think about this, gardeners, even if you just like your flowers, okay, or especially if you like your vegetables. Vermiculture, worms, worm castings, worm castings. I had this crazy idea while I'm walking around the homestead yesterday on Christmas morning about worm farming. Why? Because I want to take my chicken breeding more seriously and I want to be more successful at it than I ever have, and I may eventually want to step up to goats, which I've talked about for a long time, which I've not done yet. And I did mention that if I do that, I'm going to wait till spring so I have 6 acres of free food instead of getting started in the winter when I have to buy the food. And I thought the best way to move forward is to take a step back sometimes. The best way to advance is to regress, and this is in regard to the simplicity of the systems or the processes. Okay, when you think about biology class in middle school, high school, you don't start dissecting chickens and cows and goats. You start with an earthworm because it's one of the most simple life forms on Earth. So I've been thinking about starting a worm farm, and the big benefit as a gardener for that is you get the worm castings, which is like supposedly, they call that black gold too, like the oak leaf mold. I've been researching this the last few days in my downtime, and I've found, they're saying that if you use worm castings abundantly in your vegetable crops, your crops will grow 3 times as robustly as if you don't. So now that it's the end of the year, we're between Christmas and New Year, if we start worm farming now, we're going to have a lot of worm castings come spring when it's time to put those spring crops in the ground. Now, with all this said, I'm going to get to number 5, R&D, research and development. Okay, again, we've got the new year coming up. A lot of folks are thinking about New Year's resolutions. A lot of people are making goals for the New Year's. Focus on this instead of getting bummed because it's winter and we can't be out there growing things and we can't be outside as much as we'd like. Use this time, not idly, to maybe think about things that don't make you too happy or think about other things you wish you were doing, or maybe wishing you were on a white sandy beach somewhere while it's cold where you currently are. Use this time to do your research and development. I've been up this morning. I was researching stuff for more than an hour, like the winter crops, the vermiculture. This is the time of year to make those plans to do the things when spring comes around. Once spring gets here, we're going to be so busy with grass, with weeds, with gardening. We won't have time to stay ahead of what we're doing, let alone think about what to do next. This is the time of year to do the thinking, to do the research and development, and to begin to start implementing new practices for the upcoming year. Okay, I'm mentioning a worm farm. Now's the time to build the bins, to get all that stuff going, to get the worms, to get the worm casting starting to drop, so they're going to be there for us in the spring when we plant the crops. So this is all good news. This is all end of the year good news that you're not going to hear anywhere else, because they're focusing on what went bad with this past year, what's going to go bad with the next year, how the world's going to end 6 months from now. turn that stuff off, guys. Turn that stuff off. Don't even turn it on. And I was thinking about this because, you know, yesterday was Christmas. We didn't make a video. We were going to make a video and say Merry Christmas to everybody, which, you know, and by the way, happy late Christmas to everybody. But we didn't because it occurred to us we had not had a single day off from making videos in more than 6 months. So we said, you know what, it's Christmas. Let's take the entire day off, which we did. We spent the time together as a family, which we do every day anyway. But in my downtime, I did, when I got online to do some of this research, I noticed the headlines and I just saw how terrible they were, how doomy and gloomy they were. Everything's bad. And I thought, you know, I'm going to go up there in the morning, that morning being now, and do a morning ramble and talk about the good things, the positive things, the good end of the year news that no one's talking about. Longer days, more sun, time to plan, after Christmas sales. These are all good things, guys. Let's focus on this. And as the new year rolls around, let's keep focusing on the good things and not the bad things. And let's make sure that the new year is better than the last year, simply because we make the choice in our minds to stay positive, not be negative, focus on the good, not the bad. And with all this said, I want to wish you a very happy, longer day than you had yesterday. And then my birds are coming back. And I'm going to get down here and start doing some things around the homestead. We completed a project over the last couple of days. We built a new chicken coop in one of our gardens to use our chickens to prepare one of our different gardens. We're going to show that to you later today, make a video of that. And I'm excited to go get to it. So I hope you guys are excited to start your day. We'll see you for more next time from here at Homesteading Off the Grid.